All right. Good afternoon to each and everyone out there in the, let me see, what world? The Wi-Fi world, the internet world, the World Wide Web. We just want to thank you for joining us for our Empowerment Youth Ministry broadcast, radio broadcast. And once again, we're just so grateful. And we're in one of the most favorite parts of the year, which is the Christmas holiday. And we're so glad that you have um, taken the time out to join us for a very important segment that we're doing, and that is talking to our educators, those that are on the front line in the school systems, working with our young people, because our goal is to empower our young people, that they will become very productive, very successful young people in life. It is so very important for our young people, and we just look for God to bless in a special way, and we just thank God just for you joining us this afternoon. We're just trying to filibuster a little bit to give you a chance to log in, to get on with us. We have so much to talk about when it comes down to our young people. But this is the holiday season, and we have so much to be thankful for, so much to be grateful for. God has been so good to us, and we're joined this afternoon by our Sister Kim Crystal Harvey. Crystal, thank you so much for joining us. And she's going to share with us, there we are. She's going to share with us this afternoon. And I'm telling you, so much to talk about. And we will hope that you would go ahead and tag some people in. That's what I'm trying to do. Tag some people in. Somebody start a watch party. But anyway, if you could tag someone in, it will be awesomely great, if that is a word. But yes, we want you to really, really get our young people involved. Listen, tune in, get our young people to tune in to look to see what's going on, what's happening, especially those that are planning on going to college. Our sister Crystal works at the college on the campus with the students, literally with them day and night. So she has a job of a job, almost 24/7. If you would look at it that way, when you stay on campus with them and you're there with them all day, in and out, that's what Crystal does. And we were just trying to tag some people in with us today to make sure that we can reach as many as we possibly can. Because when it comes down to our young people, we can't ever do too much. Um, we can ever we can't ever inform them too much. We can't ever encourage them too much. We can't ever motivate them too much, because it is so needed when you look at what's happening with our young people. But Crystal, thank you so much for taking the time out to join us this evening. And I thought that it's a wonderful thing that you're with us. And okay, hold on one second. And we're just trying to give everybody a chance to um, log in with us. And we may have to pause it for a second. I'm trying to, okay, all right. We want to go ahead and we don't want to take up too much time. Uh, okay. Crystal, is it cold there in High Point?
Yes, it is.
Well, it is likewise here. It is cold. As long as we don't get the snow, we're good. You
We
know,
don't. We left that behind us.
just
Hmm.
just keep it like it is, and we're good. Just keep it like it is. Lord, we don't need no white Christmas. Um, we're good just like we are. I can't take the snow. in the cold weather. All right, and so we're just trying to get this technology to go along with what we're trying to do. And if we get technology to work, then we are all right. Yes. All right. Okay. Here we go. All right. Now. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Yes. Put that up to the tablet. Okay. Now, I had it on just friends, and so we have it where it's public now on Facebook, and so. All right. Wonderful. 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 Okay. All right. We get ready to go ahead and get started, and once again, the Empowerment Youth Ministry broadcast. It's just it's what the Lord, I'm not going to just say it's just something that the Lord laid on my heart a little over a year ago, but we're just to empower our young people. There's not a whole lot of platforms when it comes down to our youth. And so he laid on my heart to try and encourage them. I'm just so passionate about our young people. When I look at their struggles and the different things they go through. And, and when I was in school, and it wasn't many years ago, but some years ago, high school, um, we were excited. We had pep rallies, and we had all type of things going on, talent shows. We just had fun at school. And now it seems like the kids are almost like zombies there. It's like they have nothing to look forward to. It's just, from one class to the other class, no excitement, nothing to do. We were in band. We went to camps and different band competitions and everything like that, and we had fun. And so now it just seems like, gosh, I don't know what they do for fun anymore. And maybe, it's just kind of not one of those things that I can really, I guess, maybe relate to anymore. But anyway, we had a great time growing up in high school. And I'm telling you, those pep rallies were, as they say, they were lit. We had such a good time. I'm telling you, our talent shows, we just had such a wonderful time. But now, it seems like the kids don't get to experience what we experienced. And then recess, oh my goodness, we played double dutch and hopscotch and played marbles. What? It was the best life. And so now, kids like, what is recess? And so it just seems so different now. But I want to try and help encourage our youth as much as possible, because it seems as if they don't have a whole lot to look forward to. But we want to try and encourage them and inject that motivation to them as much as possible. And so we're waiting on Crystal to get back on. Uh, all right, there you are. Here we go. I'll bring her back in. All right, there you are. All right. So you good?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. And so, yes. And so that was kind of the reason why I was doing what I was doing, is trying to help our young people. And so we've been, over the past years, been bringing in different people to help encourage and motivate and just give them all the tools that we possibly can to help them to get, started along the way. And so we're joined today by Crystal Harvey, and she works at the university in High Point, North Carolina, the University of High Point University. That's what I'm trying to say. High Point University. And I thank God for Crystal. And I really appreciate all that you're doing there, and the desire that you have to work for our young people. It takes special people to do what you do. I'm sorry, everybody don't have the patience for it. And everybody's not able to relate to these young people. And we could be so negative about these young people. They won't listen and so on and so on. But you know what? Thank God for people just like you. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and get started to our recording, and we're recording for our radio show that's going to take place on Friday, between 5 and 5:30. They're having some issues at the radio station, trying to get everything in sync for it to start at exactly 5. And so I can't tell you it's going to be at 5. It may be 5:30. It may be 5:15. But anyway, between 5 and 5:30, that's where you'll be able to hear this broadcast live on our radio station, WJAY Joy 1280 98.3 FM. And so we thank God just for the opportunity, just to be able to share that also through our radio station, not just on Facebook Live, but we thank God for that. And we're going to go ahead and get started with our recording. And all right. Good afternoon to each and every one. This is yours truly, Minister Brenda Clements with the Empowerment Youth Ministry broadcast. And once again, yes, we are back to help motivate, encourage, uplift our young people. That's right. I am the energy, I'm the force behind what you see, what you're going to hear, because I want you to do your best and to be your personal best. Look, you got this, young people. And whoever is out there listening, regardless of what you may be going through, regardless of what may be going on in your life, look, you got this. You're going to make it. And look, we're at the end of the week. It's Friday. Somebody says TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. And look, it's just thank God for each and every day, because living in the midst of this pandemic that we're in right now, so many people are suffering and going through. We're just blessed to be able to do what we're doing today. And so for that cause, you want to tell God thank you, because we're blessed. Regardless of what we may be faced with, look, we're going to get through this. We're going to make it. We're going to come out of this. Look, this is not the first maybe pandemic, so to speak, that we've experienced. We've been through some hard times before. And guess what? This too will pass. Our prayers continue to go out to those on the first line, on those that are out there, our first responders on the front line. And our prayer continue to go out to those doctors, those nurses, our educators that are out there trying to work for our children online, whether it's face-to-face. Oh, wow. They have a tremendous job, and they're getting it done. And they have made it just about through the first semester, the first 9 weeks. And I know they can breathe a sigh of relief. And thank God for doing that for us. I thought for sure they were going to go ahead and shut these schools down, and everybody's going to be online. But God worked it out. Look, you never can underestimate what God just may do. And so you can't always predict it, and we don't always know it. But one thing we do know, that God is in control. And this did not catch God by surprise. Mm-hmm. And we may not know what's next, but he does. And so that's why it's so important that we just trust him. Hey, just let him take the wheel. They say, Jesus, take the wheel. Let him take the wheel, y'all. Y'all sit back, enjoy the ride, and just don't even worry about it, because God is in control. He's the pilot, and you the co-pilot. Just do whatever he say do. When he tell you to do it, then you do it, and then you're good to go. Just that simple. You don't have to make it all complicated. But we thank God just for being back to share with you with the Empowerment Youth Ministry broadcast. And we've been doing a segment on Let's Hear from Our Educators. And we did part 1 on last week with our brother, that moved forward, DeAndre. We thank God for him coming and sharing with our young people. And this week we have our sister Crystal Harvey, that she is at the University of High Point there. And we thank God for the work that she's doing there. And we're going to let her tell you exactly what she does there. A very good personal friend and relative, and my niece down in North Carolina. Crystal, thank you so much for what you're doing there, and we greatly appreciate it. And if you could just share with us what you do. Well, actually, how did you get there? You went to the University of Winthrop, North Carolina, there. And so take it from there.
Yeah, so thank you for having me, Aunt Brenda. So, yes, I started in Rock Hill, South Carolina at Winthrop University, being a business administration management major. And during my time at Winthrop, I was very involved on campus.
Hmm.
I got involved in my residence hall, being involved in hall council, resident student association. I went to different conferences. I was a very involved person, considered a student leader, was involved in sorority life and all of that. And through that, realized that there was a side of higher education outside of the classroom that I could take part of. So I knew that I wanted to go into business and have that managerial experience, but also realized that I loved working with college students. I loved the experience that I had and wanted to give that back. So after graduating, I did start working at an accounting firm for a couple of years, but during that time, went back and got my master's in higher education administration. And through that, I was able to gain an opportunity to work in student affairs, which is the non academic side of higher education. So, residence life, student activities, all those things that take place to make a college experience holistic is the thing that I wanted to be a part of. So I started my journey about 5 years ago, working in residence life and student activities. Moved to Tennessee and did that, and also worked at Appalachian State University for a couple of years in housing and residence life there. And now I'm here at High Point University as an area coordinator working in residence life and housing as well.
Wow, what a journey in such a short
Hmm.
time. So,
Hmm.
so to begin with, this was not part of the plan.
Mm-mm.
Wow, but
So it
it
wasn't. Mm-mm.
wow, and that is so neat. So, although you took business management and graduated with a degree in that, you were able to still find your place right there on the campus. Never had a dream or never thought that you would be doing.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Really, it's so
Yeah.
amazing how God just allowed your gift just to manifest itself, and you like, wow, how did I
Mhm.
even get here? No plan,
Right.
but
Right.
oh, that's good because a lot of our students don't know what they want to do,
Mhm.
but you found an interest, and a lot of times that's how it happens. When you find an interest in something or you have a passion about something, a lot of times that's your calling where you could possibly need to be.
And sometimes it just takes taking that first step. And I was one who always wanted to get involved on campus. I wanted college to be more than just my GPA. I wanted to be able to build relationships on campus and be involved. And I had a lot of mentors on campus that worked in the dean of students office, worked in residence life, and they're the ones who kind of introduced me to this career field. And that's when I started searching. And even when I was working in accounting, something was still kind of pulling at me like, you still want to work, with those college students. And so I
Mhm.
just kind of took the leap of faith and went and got my master's and started my career in higher education.
Oh, wow. And no looking back, no regrets.
None, none.
Oh. So you're loving the experience.
Yes, I would say that I always say I'm a res lifer. So I work in residence life and I feel like I'll be working in residence life for life. If nothing else happens, I feel like that's definitely where I'll be. I feel like my dream job is definitely to be a dean of students, to be a senior vice president of student affairs, to be in that administrative roles. And honestly, the business management degree has come into play a lot.
Okay.
That definitely doesn't go away. The business side of running a college doesn't go away, and so I've been able to use a lot of those skills. They've been very transferable.
Wonderful. I
Hmm.
didn't know all this myself. Thank you so much. That is such a beautiful story to share, and I hope just that part will help motivate and encourage some of our young people because just trying to figure out what you want to do and go to college, that is such a big deal, whether they believe it or not,
Hmm.
to try and select a career and you're only 18, 19 years old and you're picking a career for your life, you know,
Hmm.
and it's a great decision that you have to make, but um, it's good, it is great, but then you still have to find out exactly what it is,
Mhm.
that thing that's within you, your gift, your call.
Mhm.
And I'm so glad that you found out exactly what you wanted to do, your true love, your first passion.
Mhm.
That is
Mhm.
so nice. And I was going to say your true love, your first passion outside of your husband. But anyway, I could not pass it up. But anyway, so Crystal, with your experience working in Tennessee, residence life there, and now you're in High Point University. For those students that are looking to maybe enter into college, staying on campus, because it's a total different ball game now, especially with
Mhm.
the pandemic. What are some things that we need to be aware of? The students need to be aware of, as well as the parents, because I'm sure when you first started, it doesn't look like that now. And so we're
Mhm.
talking about a 360 almost, but thank God you all were able to get through it. So what do we need to be aware of coming in? Those that are getting ready to even come to school back in January, so they may be coming back,
Mhm.
well, starting for the first time in January. What are some things that you think that you saw that some of the parents need to know or the students need to know that you would like to share?
Yeah, that's a really good question because I think this pandemic has presented us with a lot of challenges and presented us with situations that we never thought we'd be in front of. And honestly, college doesn't look the same as it did even
Right,
at the beginning of 2020. So it's important. Safety is definitely number one. The decision to go to college during a pandemic and living on campus is one that's very personal. So really sit back and think about, am I okay risking my health to go back to campus because things may look the same, but we all know that COVID is around us, is on the left and it's on the right. I think it's also important to really speak if you're living on campus. I deal a lot with students that live on campus, so I'm speaking more to that. So if you're living on campus, it's important to really talk with your housing and res life department to ask them what measures are you all taking to make sure that our students that are living on campus are safe. You have to think about if one person tests positive on a hall that has a community style bathroom, what does that look like and how are you keeping my son, my daughter, my student safe? And so it's important to ask those questions. What protocols, what procedures do you have in place if someone tests positive? What procedures do you have in place if my student is listed as a close contact? Because that is also an impact too. If you've been around someone, you've been exposed to someone who tested positive, that's important to know. And I would even ask about transparency. Are they letting students know in the halls whenever there may be an outbreak in their community? How transparent are they and will they be able to let you know? Financially, you need to definitely talk to Residence Life and Housing about refunds. If we get sent home in March, are you going to refund me my money, or am I just stuck? Or
right,
will you offer me an alternate to being refunded? I think that's an important question to ask. A lot of colleges suffered in March, April, May when they had to issue these refunds to students because it was in their contract that they have to do that. And so they've rewritten a lot of contracts trying to protect themselves. The
exactly,
business, a college is still a business, so they're protecting themselves, but at what expense? So it's good to ask those questions, read those housing contracts to know exactly what you're getting into so
good,
you can make the best decision of whether you want to live on campus, whether you maybe want to commute, if you have the option to live off campus in an apartment, if that's a better option. You just
right,
want to be able to make the best choice. So finances is a big one. Knowing if you'll get your money back if the semester ends early. If you decide that y'all aren't handling this the way that I expected to, and I want to bring my student, my son or daughter home, if you want to do that, do you get your money back? Those are all the questions that you want to ask. So,
right.
in a nutshell, I would say safety and financially, those are some things that you need to ask up front.
Right, exactly, and that is some very very um, good information that you shared, because it is a very big concern. with COVID-19 being so real, and it is, and
Mhm.
but yet we want our children to pursue higher education. We want them to pursue their dreams and their goals, and we want them to reach them, but we want them to reach them in a very, very safe and careful way. Um,
Mhm.
um, Once again, the virus is real, and so many people have lost their lives due to it. Now, with
Mhm.
Residence Life, I know that there are a lot of students from all over that are coming
Mhm.
and traveling there, and you dealing with so many different backgrounds with our young people, and um, from the backgrounds, from different households that they come from, um, all type of beliefs, and so
Mhm.
what would you say would be one of the things that our young people seem to struggle with, staying on campus maybe for the first time, or some of the
Mhm.
problems that our young people face, that maybe that we're just not aware of, and then although they face those problems or situations, how can we make it better? What can we,
Mhm.
because we don't want them to go and drop out of school. We want them to be able to
Mhm.
finish, and do well, not just finish, but finish strong, and to do
Mhm.
that those years, and that the time that they've invested, the money that they've invested, that they'll be able to benefit from it by them having that degree and being able to go on and pursue a job in that career or
Mhm.
that field that they're in. And so, what are some of the challenges, maybe, I guess, that you see some of our young people deal with, and then how do we help, or what did you recommend for us a way to help encourage them to get through it?
That's a loaded question. um,
I know.
it looks different with every generation and every class that comes through a college. But I would say in this day and age, their mental health is still a huge issue. And
Mm,
we need to start normalize talking about it. We need to start normalize seeking help with counseling, seeking help with just different coping mechanisms. We need to start the conversation early. If you know that your student has a mental health issue, kind of sharing that with officials in the admissions office so that we can reach out and provide support to them early.
mm-hmm.
There's such a huge system at colleges that support students. When you tell someone or notify them about an issue that a student has, it notifies Res Life and maybe even academics, and making maybe even student support or peer mentors, and so we can support them from different angles. And so
Right.
don't feel ashamed to share that information. And I would say even your students, as you're on campus and as you're developing relationships and taking on the academic load, if you're noticing your behavior is changing, reach out for help. If you're living on campus, your resident assistant, if you have peer mentors, if you have resident directors that live in the building, reach out and say, hey, like I've noticed myself kind of behaving differently, or just that I've been in this low state. At least kind of reach out and talk that through early on rather than waiting until you're at a really low point. And I would say with this pandemic, it's increased that even more. Where we're sending students into quarantine and into isolation for safety purposes. But for a lot of students, staying in a room for 14 days is not good for their mental health.
Wow.
And so, how do we support them? And here at High Point, we call our students every single day or text and say, "Hey, how are you doing?" Not just do you have symptoms and how are you feeling, but mentally, how are
Right.
you doing? Being in a hotel room or sitting in your room on campus for 14 days to protect yourself and to protect others, but how is that impacting your mental health? So, I think from all angles, mental health is just a in the conversations all the time.
Right.
And
And so,
then
so
go
let me
ahead.
let me ask you this. So, because when you say mental health, people just
Mhm.
automatically start thinking, "Oh, there's something wrong with them." They
Mhm.
have a big problem. They're crazy. That's the first thing they think. They're crazy. But mental
Mhm.
health simply is, you know, I'm a normal student. I'm fine. But then living on college campuses, among your peers, the peer pressure, the stress of being in
Mhm.
college, it can evolve into something, because now you're there. You don't want to let your parents down. You know, you
Mhm.
don't want nobody to be disappointed. And so mental health, stuff like that affects your mental health. Not that you're crazy. And we don't want anybody to think that that's what's happening. Oh, I'm crazy. Now, no, you're not crazy.
Mhm.
It's just that you need some help, some counseling on how to
Mhm.
cope with what you're feeling and what you're dealing with. And I think you're,
Mhm.
it does need to be normalized, very
Mhm.
normalized, because in the pandemic, not just students and young people are dealing with a lot of anxiety and stress and depression, adults alike, from the virus. And so
Mhm.
it's just something counseling can help. And it sounds like you all have a very good support system, in trying to help support our young people in that aspect. And as she said, please seek some counseling. Parents, if you notice that your child seems very distant, you know, they're not, they come home from school and they just don't seem like themselves, find a way to talk to them, maybe get in touch with the counselors, or someone to try and help reach out to your child, because it's so sad to say, and I know that you've experienced it, but the suicide rate has really increased tremendously, and it's so sad. And a lot of times we miss, as parents, you know, we don't even see it coming until it's too late. And then maybe
Mhm.
you just ignore the signs. And we want to prevent that. My heart just goes out to those parents. And this is so real, you know. Depression is one thing, anxiety is another, but then when you talk about suicide and that's on a rise, that number has increased along with the other numbers. Oh wow, we have so much to pray about for our young people.
Mhm.
And so, Crystal, how, you know, I know you're saying that you all call and try and give them that support system. So what else would you like to add in with that?
Yeah, so I would also say that sometimes we are afraid to have the hard conversations. And I
Mm,
think now is the time that we need to start having the hard conversations, paying attention to behavior patterns. I
mm,
think it's easy to say, oh, Crystal's in school, she's so busy all the time, or she's always locked up in her room studying, or she's always locked up in her room sleeping. Is
mm-hmm.
that normal, Crystal, or is that Crystal as a result of XYZ PDQ piling up on her plate or things crowding her mind? You have to think about, in college, some of these students are experiencing things that they've never experienced before on
Very
their own.
right.
Um, so you have to think about how they sometimes don't have the tools or even the capacity to deal and function with a lot of these things that they're faced with.
Right.
And so I would definitely say have the conversations and just say, hey, I noticed you've been sleeping a lot. You sure you okay?
Right.
What have you been thinking about? Why have you been sleeping so much? Is there anything that you want to chat about? And no, we aren't licensed doctors or anything like that, but a conversation can really go far, can
Exactly.
really go far. So just don't be afraid to have the hard conversations. And if it gets to that point where you think they've been in that extreme state of depression, um, ask the question, have you thought about it? Do you have a plan?
Yeah.
Um, there's been many times where I've had to ask that hard conversation and didn't get the response that I really wanted, but got the student the help that they needed in that time.
Wow.
So just have the conversations and have the tough conversations and don't hesitate to ask questions.
Wow. This is a lot. Crystal, you have a job on that campus. Wow, that's a lot. And I like what you said, is that they're experiencing things and having to deal with things that they've never had to deal with before, because they're not at home, mom and dad's not there, and so they're trying to be the adult, you know. They're trying to make those adult decisions and handle it. But look, if it's more than you can handle, please, please grab that
Mhm.
life jacket, get you a life preserver, and go get some help. It's just that
Mhm.
simple, and you'll be glad you did, because we want everybody to understand and know that you're not alone. This what
Mhm.
you're dealing with. Look, a lot of us have issues that we deal with, things that we've had to experience and go through. And trust me, someone else has already been there, done that, so to speak. And it's just a simple conversation, like you said, just
Mhm.
conversation. And a lot of times we don't want to face it and we don't want to deal with it because
Mhm.
life, as they say, life happens to us. And there's some things that we just experience that we never thought that we would have to even experience in life. But
Right.
God is always there to help us and carry us
Mhm.
through. So Krista, on a lighter note,
Well,
yeah,
I want to mention two more problems that I feel like often
okay,
get swept under the rug. And so, one being connection on campus and building that friend group. That's another problem that I'm really seeing as a result of COVID-19. We can't have these big events in the middle of campus. We can't have these big social events and a lot of programs and things like we used to. So our students are not connecting and finding friends as quickly as they used to. And so that's often, as a result, their mental health suffers. And so, really wanting students to get out to their resident assistants, peer mentors, whatever it may be, joining small clubs and organizations, even if they're meeting virtually, try to connect with people, get to know people on your hall because that's kind of a safe space rather than kind of
right,
um, creating large groups on campus. But I've just seen a lot of students struggle. They come to college by themselves and they're struggling to have friends, to have a support group on campus. They may have friends from back home, but they aren't on campus with them, and their family may be back at home, or maybe they don't have a supportive family, so they're
right,
looking for that on campus. And when they can't find that, it's kind of a ripple effect. And so I just encourage students who are going back to campus in this spring to don't hesitate or shy away from those virtual programs. I know it's different, I know it's frustrating, but just jump in and try to connect with someone and meet people in your halls and your classes.
yeah,
And just, you only need one good friend. A few good friends can go far on campus in helping make your experience really well.
good, good. Thank you so much for sharing. Even
Hmm.
um, and there's another one that you want to share.
Yes. And then the other thing that's really impacting our campus with COVID and also the state of our country with racial injustice, people in our political climate, we are struggling with agreeing to disagree. And
Right,
our students are living next door to students who voted for someone else that's opposite. And those stereotypes of a Trump supporter, the stereotypes of a Biden supporter, and how that really impacts our community on campus and the
wow,
students experience. And so really being able to sit down and have healthy conversations about differences of backgrounds and opinions. Even if someone has maybe grown up in an area that everyone looks like them, and now coming to a campus where it's very diverse is a different experience. And so just being open, giving people grace to have those conversations, not automatically labeling people, but sit down and have healthy conversations, not debates, about some of these issues that are going on in our country. Because although we're at a college where we may feel like we're in a bubble, we're eventually going to have to enter that world. And we want you to enter the world a better person, a good citizen, someone who knows how to get along with people that think differently and look differently than you.
right.
So that's been a really big thing too that I just want to keep on the forefront of everyone's mind.
Yes, that is so true. It's a sensitive subject, very
Mhm.
sensitive. But at the same time, at the end of the day, it's okay to disagree, to agree to disagree. And when we all can accept, uh, whether okay, you like orange, I like purple. Okay,
Mhm.
so you like orange, I like purple. No big deal. Nothing to fall out about. And um, we're not gonna. You can't. It's impossible to please everybody. And that's
Mhm.
another thing we struggle with. The fact that um, we feel like I don't want them to be upset with me. And when you talk about friends and having friends, oh, I don't want to make them friend. I don't want my friends to be upset. I don't. I know they're not gonna like what I'm doing, but look, it's okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
look. You don't have to like it. You don't have to
Right.
attend that, or you don't have to be a part of it. When we struggle with rejection, and that's a big thing. Reject, oh gosh, they you feel rejected, but look, it's okay, because
Mm-hmm.
everybody is different. Everybody
Yep.
don't like fried chicken, everybody don't like fried fish. You know what I'm saying?
But
And
we can
so
still respect each other. The respect needs to stay there.
exactly. You know, I'll take you to get you to get the Captain D's to get you some fish, and I'm going to KFC. And look, we'll meet back together. We're gonna sit down and eat this food and have a good time. And so,
Mm-hmm.
people may say it's not that simple, Brenda. Why not? Why can't it be
Mm-hmm.
that simple? Because we need to make it that simple. Um,
Mm-hmm.
these differences are causing so many problems, and so many relationships have been destroyed due to that fact. And at the end of the day, is it worth it? Man, we serve a God, our Father is the Father of all,
Um,
regards to race, color, background. It doesn't matter what what school you went to, or how much money you have in the bank. He is the Father of
mm-hmm.
all, and
Mm-hmm.
thank God He doesn't discriminate. So where we come in at, you know?
And we're supposed to love all. So who are we to point the finger and really kind of discredit or, disown someone based off their beliefs and their thoughts? How do you show love? How do
Exactly.
you show love?
Exactly, because our Father, He loves us all, regardless
Mhm.
of how tall or short or skinny or whatever you are. He loves us all. We're all His children. And I don't know
Mhm.
any parent, any good father, or any good mother that would have any different feeling about their children, whether it's 6 or 12. They love them all the same. And I'm not going to disown my child because he loves he loves the color green. You know,
Mhm.
green? What? I mean, really? No, that's not how it works. And so we really got, there's a lot of work to be done, but
A lot.
it starts at home. And if
Mhm.
you teach your child and train them up in the way they should go, a lot of times when they get out in the world, they'll know how to act. You know,
Mhm.
and then you got to stand up for yourself. You just don't allow people just to pour all kind of stuff into you. When you get on that college campus, you don't allow people just to put all kind of stuff into you. No, you don't have to. You don't have to. Goodness,
Mhm.
I don't have to take that. I don't have to accept that. You know, I'm good,
Mhm.
so to speak. Oh wow,
Mhm.
Krista, you have said so many wonderful things, and it's such it's an eye opener, because we as parents, we're sitting at home and thinking our children are fine. You know, we talk to them, we FaceTime when they seem okay or whatever, but then yet they hide. You know, not allowing us to know this or
Mhm.
that sometimes, and so it's kind of tough, but we thank God for those students that are out there pushing and pressing their way, you know, trying to get it done. Our hats go off to you, always. And Crystal, thank you so much, that God placed you there. And I just don't think that I would not think, I know God, He's intentional, you know, and
Mhm.
although you didn't see it, God had His hand on you, and He had a plan. And the thing
Mhm.
about it, He's not through with you yet. And so it's just so beautiful to
Come
be in
on.
the hand of God, you know, to be in His
Yes.
hand, and as He directs you and as He leads you to greater things. It's such a beautiful thing. I'm telling you, I don't know why people won't serve Him. Man, you trust this guy. God knows. You
You
talking
got
about
to.
I'm telling you, He could put you in places you never even dreamed or thought of. And here's Crystal right here, a witness to tell you that God has put you in places that you never dreamed or even thought of. So amazing. That's
Yes.
that's the kind of God we serve. So, Crystal,
Yes,
I'm going
it
to give you
is.
the final last word. Um, anything that you would like to say on
Mhm.
the end, on the positive note that you all have a good time at High Point University. It's a great school. Come on, you better give a
Mhm.
shout out to your school.
Yes, it's been a really great semester. I will say I'm really surprised at how many students really decided to come back to school this semester in person. But I'm really proud of the work that we as higher education and student affairs professionals are doing to really create this circle around our students and support them and push them up in such an unprecedented time. And at a
Right.
time where we're sacrificing also by, being in person and supporting our students even through some of their darkest times. So
Mhm.
I'm proud of the work that all of us are doing across all colleges and universities. So
Very good.
we'll see what January 2021 brings us, but we're off to a good start.
That is great. And so thank you all so much, everybody, for what they're doing out there in the education field, whether it's higher education, high school, elementary, wherever you may be in the educational field. Thank you so much for what you're doing and your contribution. And you all are pouring into our young people. Thank you so much for what you do. I'm telling you, we need you all. And I wish we could up your pay. And a lot of times they teachers are underpaid, but I wish that we could increase it because what you're doing, once again, as I said, you're pouring into the lives of these young people, and you're making a difference. And so you either pour some good stuff in them, or it could go the other way. And so we hope that all the good that you can do, that you continue to do what you're doing. And thank you so much. And thank everybody for joining us today. This has been a very, very good segment here. And if you would like to hear more about this video, this conversation that we had with Crystal, look us up on Facebook Live, or either you can go to YouTube and you'll be able to see the Empower Me Youth. If you look up Empower Me Youth, you'll be able to find the rest of this broadcast. We did some more talking at the end, but we want you all to be able to be able to hear the full um, uh, interview with our sister Crystal Harvey, if you would like. And so look us up on Empowerment Youth on YouTube, or either go to our Facebook page. You'll be able to hear the rest of it. But until next week, thank you all so much for joining us. Remember to join us on Sunday Morning Glory. It's Sunday Morning Glory. It's Empowerment Youth Sunday Morning Glory, which is just a spinoff of our radio show. And so we want to pour something into you naturally. And then on Sunday mornings, we get another picture and pour some spiritual stuff out there for you. And so join us on Sunday morning for Empowerment Youth Sunday Morning Glory at 10 a.m. Facebook Live, or either YouTube Live, however you want to look us up. But we just want you to come and enjoy it and praise the Lord with us, because God is certainly worthy of all the praise. In such a time like this, oh my God, it is a time that we all get it together. Our time isn't long here. It's so much is happening in the world. Continue to be prayerful, because prayer changes things. God bless. Until next week, we love you. God bless you. All right, we got the official stuff out the way. Thank you so much, Crystal. That was wow, girl. You really shared a whole lot of good information with us, and I hope that we'll be able to share this video with more people, and the information will get out, because a lot of times the parents just do not know it, and our kids get in situations and have problems there that they never thought that they would have to deal with. And and instead of them coming home for Christmas, they're coming home because they weren't able to finish, and we want them to
Mhm.
finish. When you start, we want you to be able to finish it, and not everybody
Mhm.
can finish. But I thank God, and I'm so proud of what you're doing, and all our educators. Thank you so much for what you're doing, Crystal, and
Thank
thank everyone
you.
for tuning in. Please share this information. Make sure you share this video on your page, if you can. Please share it, because we need more information when it comes down to our young people. The Word of God says that the people perish because of lack of knowledge. And so we don't want you to perish. We want you to live. All right. Thank you so much once again, Crystal, for joining us, and we will be talking to you soon. Thank you so much, everyone. God bless y'all. Have a great evening. In the broadcast.